Good morning. So glad you can make it again today. I am beginning to just really look forward to these every single day. I'm so excited to do this together. It's so fun for me. I just love being connected with you. It's another glorious day. Thank you that we have your mind today, Christ. Thank you that we know what you're thinking about us today, and we know what you're thinking about our circumstances, which are perfect in your mind, perfect in your heart. Thank you that we get to live a different experience today of your love than we've lived before. Isn't that awesome? Back when I was just learning about who I really am, I was very confused about that, and I was just always assessing myself in a negative way, thinking that I wasn't enough, and I would always be praying from that place of just not understanding what was done or what was changed about me or what I had actually received. And so I still thought I didn't have it, I thought that I still wasn't righteous, and there was just really no hope of ever experiencing being that. And I was on a walk, go figure, my favorite thing to do. I was on a walk, and God started speaking to me and telling me, think of everything that you can describe Jesus as, and then say, I am that. And so I realized what he was doing was helping me to identify with my new self, my new creation life. That I'm not what I was, and I probably never was what I thought I was anyway. I didn't know what I was or who I was. But I had to start realizing that I'm one with everything that Jesus is, everything that Christ is, I am now. And that was just a free gift that was given to me that I didn't have to earn or do anything to get, but just identify with it, just believe it, and become one with it in my mind, because it was already true in God's mind. It's already true in God's heart. It just wasn't in mine. And so as I was walking, I started thinking about what Jesus is. Here comes a biker on the trail. We're on the Ice Age Trail, and sometimes these amazing people come by on their mountain bikes, and they just do these hills and go over the rocks and roots and everything, and I'm not brave enough to do that yet. My husband loves to do it, but I'm a little bit afraid still. I have to start seeing myself doing that in order to feel confident enough to give it a try. But so I started to think about what Jesus is. And Jesus is righteous. So then I would say, I am righteous. Jesus is love. I am love. Jesus is holy. I am holy. Jesus is kind. I am kind. Jesus is life. I am life. And I would go on and on with the things that were coming to my mind. And I just started putting that's what I am too. And I needed to do that because I didn't believe any of those things were true about myself. But God knew they were true. God knew that because His Spirit is in me. I get everything that He is and nothing that He's not. But I have to identify with it in order to experience it being true for myself. And that really was the beginning of everything changing for me. If I could say that was one of the most influential things that God has taught me, that became an experience for me, that was it, the beginning of it. Because without identifying with the truth, I could not become the truth in my own mind, in my own heart. And I was having an experience of life that was opposite of what God was offering me. And the way that God was seeing me was totally different than the way that I was seeing myself. So I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the teacher that lives inside of me. Oh, what a relief. We always have the perfect teacher inside of us to help us get to really, not where we're going, but where we already are. We already are all these things, but we don't know it. So we need Holy Spirit to reveal it to us, to show us the truth. I think the goal of the Bible is to teach us that we've been made one with the Spirit of God, and that we don't need a teacher on the outside, we need a teacher on the inside. And that teacher promises to lead us into all the truth about everything. It's so simple when you don't have to try to figure it out. You know? So simple when the person who knows everything is totally willing to take your hand and walk you into everything that is really true and real about yourself. Such a load off when you don't have to try anymore to be what you've already been made into. Be like me trying to get into the woods right now. I'm already in the woods. I'm so thankful. How are you doing? I hope that you have been having new insights and new experiences in your heart and mind. I hope that you've been enjoying the presence of God inside of you. I hope you've been able to see yourself in a new light. I see you that way. I see you as someone who sees today what they couldn't see yesterday. I see you believing what you couldn't believe before. I see you realizing that everything has been made right inside of you, and considering you and concerning you, that everything has been made right. Whatever it looked like that wasn't fixed is fixed. And that you see it. And as soon as you see it, I see you rejoicing in it, celebrating it, and then experiencing it in the natural too. Everything in the natural starts in the spirit. It all has to start inside first. what you see with God inside becomes your next experience of life. How wonderful to know, too, that the one who loves you more than anybody could possibly love you is leading your life so that you can experience all of that love, so that you'll never know a moment without it. Oh, I see you just taking a huge sigh of relief, realizing there's nothing to do, there's nothing to get. You've already got it. Whatever it was you thought you needed, you have it. That you hear God's voice every time that He speaks to you, you hear it. That it's effortless for you. That it's just an automatic thing that happens now. Something that you thought was hard, so easy and so simple. It's such a relief. I always say that one of the names of God should be the Great Load Off. So true. God is the great load off. Takes a load off of our minds. Takes care of what we need. The reason why we haven't experienced it before is because we haven't believed it, so we didn't receive it. One time God was explaining the kingdom to me, and He was showing me a picture. I'm just really visual, so I see a lot of pictures when God speaks to me, always an imagination picture, and thoughts to go with it. And it's usually very much like a parable or a story, giving me an example of what something is like. And God was telling me that the kingdom is very much like the Ponderosa restaurant, or, if you don't know what a Ponderosa is, it's like a buffet type restaurant. And you take your plate and you go up and you put some food on your plate. And He said, imagine that all of the things that I am and that I have offered to you are like the buffet line at the Ponderosa. And you take your plate up and say you receive salvation in the way that you think it means, and you put that on your plate. But maybe you never lifted the lid on healing. And healing was right there next to it, and you didn't put it on your plate. And maybe relational unity and your family was on that buffet line, but you didn't put it on your plate. You didn't know it was there because the cover was on it, or maybe you just didn't look, you didn't realize it was there, so you didn't take any. And maybe financial provision was in that buffet, but you were taught that it was up to you to provide for yourself. And you didn't know that God would rightly fit you into what it was that you would be doing, and that you would be loving to do and feeling fulfilled to be doing, and then all the provision you need would always be there. So you didn't take any because you didn't know. So God was saying to me, if you don't put it on your plate and eat it, you won't experience it. And there's all of this wonderful food that is spiritual. It's received spiritually in the heart, but can't be experienced unless it's received in the heart. Just like you can't experience the fruit of a tree you don't plant. So that was really eye-opening for me. Because, of course, I wasn't experiencing much of any of those things in my life, and I was so frustrated by it. And once God showed me that, I just began to participate and started the baby steps of believing those things were true. And it was kind of, at first, difficult for me because I'd had so much prior experience of life that was the opposite of that. And I didn't realize that that was happening because of what I hadn't received, and that I needed to learn a new way of believing and walking with God, and I needed to become teachable so that I could have new experiences with God. And I really wanted to have all of the experiences of God's love that I could have. So I had to start small and ask Holy Spirit every day to teach me. And I have found Holy Spirit to be so faithful to do it. I pray for you today to experience that too, that teacher inside of you. I see you getting it. I see your face lit up. Get it. I get it. I have it already. I just didn't eat it. And now I am. And it's wonderful. And it's restful. And all of a sudden, life is so peaceful. When something arises, I remember there's door number 3. The answer's inside me. Holy Spirit knows what to do. It's going to end up great. It's going to be okay. I'm going to experience something I haven't before. Something wonderful. Something life-giving for me and for everyone I'm acquainted with, because they're going to get to participate in the love that I'm experiencing and the answers to prayer that I'm experiencing. Can give what we have. You are so loved. You are 100% loved. Every part of you is loved. You are so perfect and beautiful in God's mind. And you're perfect and beautiful in mine. I love you. I bless you today. Thank you so much for joining me again. Oh, I hope that today brings to you new thoughts, new ideas, hope that brings joy, and answers that are surprisingly wonderful. Have a wonderful day. I love you. I'll be thinking about you, and I'll be flowing the love of God to you today. Have a great, wonderful day today, and I'll see you tomorrow.